Hi. I wanted to start by sharing a short story with you guys. There was a man who was incarcerated, and he prayed to God and asked him, if you help me to get out of here, just set me free from this place. I will serve you my whole life. I'll tell everybody about you. I won't stop telling them about you. And the next day he was approached by the correctional staff, and he received a time served. He was informed that he had time served, and he actually walked out of prison. And he was only a few steps out of the door before he realized and recognized, oh yeah, the prayer, this is God's doing. And so sure enough to his word, he was a man who valued his word, and he recognized that he gave it to God this time. And he set out to reach as many people as he possibly could. So he started by setting up an event. He began printing flyers for the event. He wanted to invite as many people as possible. He enlisted some of the best speakers he could find. He had invested in some of the best church singers that you could, from local congregations. And he invested quite a bit of his own money, as well as raised some funds to get audio equipment, video equipment, just about everything to make this thing perfect for the event. And when the day of the event came, there wasn't the turnout that he expected. It was maybe about 10 people showed up to this citywide almost event. And of the 10 people, only one person gave their life to Jesus Christ. And disheartened, he went back prayerfully to God, and he said, I gave you my word that I was going to serve you with my whole heart. I told you that I wouldn't stop telling people about you. But this is harder than I thought. Why didn't more people come to know you? And God spoke to him in that moment and said to him, if you don't understand my heart for just one individual, how will you understand my heart for many? I think what the parable of the Good Samaritan narrates for us is God's heart for just a single individual. And one of the attacks of the enemy that I've been recognizing again and again throughout the body of Christ is to make the task of intervening in someone's life so daunting, to seem so insurmountable, that we give up. We say, well, that's not for me, that maybe the church will handle that, or the pastor will handle that, or that organization will handle that. But the truth is, the way that we can make a change is simply by investing in and impacting and seeing value in impacting just one life, just one individual in our community. And it can start, even if it isn't in a prison context. As a local church, you have children in your life you can invest in, friends of your children's that you can get to know and begin getting to know their families, and whether or not they're churched or unchurched, or churchgoers or of a different belief system, and inviting them into just community with yourself and others. That could be over coffee, that could be in a variety of ways. In a variety of ways. But as it relates to prisoners, I think that's where we're really focused on today, in talking about going that second mile and doing something that takes you to another sphere. And it requires of us an investment. It requires growth personally, that we are invested in having the openness to hear from the Lord, to maybe be stretched in ways that are uncomfortable, in walking with individuals who come from maybe a different demographic, a different type of lifestyle and upbringing than we're accustomed to. But at the same time, as we grow, what we'll find is that in walking with these individuals, we are greatly blessed by it as well. And God is going to do just such incredible things inside our own hearts. As you saw from the video, I'm also an ex-offender, and I think one of the disconnects between when I was released from prison to the 5 years later before I came to faith, in finding healthy community during that time, was exactly what we were talking about when we mentioned gangs, and how it's near impossible, and there's these very random reasons in which individuals leave gangs. But one of the things that we do recognize is that gangs represent a community to an individual, a community that they may not otherwise have. And if we as a church seek to break the cycle of crime as it relates to those gangs and what those gangs represent for those individuals, we have to be willing to step up and offer to these men and women a community that cares about them, that intimately wants to know them deeply as a person and understand them, understand their struggles, understand the things that they've gone through, and to be willing to accept them in all the messiness that getting to know a person in these personal ways brings about. And so if I can encourage you today as a church, and I thank the Lord for this opportunity to even share with you, to begin praying that the Lord would just place one individual on your heart today. One individual, whether that's in your communities or your families or with one of the ministries that you heard about today, that the Lord would just place one individual on your heart to begin walking with and offering that support to. Thank you.